Regular BBC daytime viewers will recognise these giants of the antiques world who light up our screens with their wisdom and charm.
I've more than doubled their money.
But what sort of things do our experts get up to when they're not on the telly? Well, we're about to find out, as over the course of 1 week, we'll be seeing one pair of plucky heavyweight dealers face a different daily challenge. Some of those challenges will be familiar territory.
Yes.
And some will be pitching our experts into the unknown.
Bang, bang, bang.
They'll be going head-to-head in a battle for profit, showing us how they've risked their own money and reputations by recreating some of their real-life deals.
Profit, profit and more profit.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, each expert has a favourite charity that will be benefiting from their profits. The challenge to our experts is clear. Put your money where your mouth is. Today's hard-nosed dealers are our very own collectibles gent, Paul the man from Morecambe, Hayes, and the radiant First Lady of Antiques, Kate Absolute Bliss. With a father who was an auctioneer, Kate has spent her life surrounded by antiques and is a renowned independent valuer, agent and broker with over 12 years of experience under her belt. Her position as the First Lady of Antiques comes from dispensing expert advice on bargain hunt and flog it. Just like his opponent, Paul grew up in the world of antiques. His father was a dealer and our blue-eyed boy has been buying and selling since he was 6 years old. He's worked as an independent dealer for 10 years and is in a league of his own when it comes to rooting out cash in the attic and turning the trash to cash. We have the experts, they have the knowledge, the contacts, and a fierce desire to win. So, without further ado, it's time to find out the aim of today's game.
So, here we are again. Do you know what? I feel like a politician.
How are you?
How are you? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, actually. Are you going to go first?
Go on, I'll go first. And it says here, right, Kate and Paul, yeah, it's definitely for us. Your challenge is to spend £1,000 of your own money. You must then resell what you purchase with the aim of making as much profit as possible.
Okay.
Again.
This is your free-for-all. You can buy whatever you like, wherever you like.
Oh, all right.
Well, that should make it a bit easier, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should do, yeah.
Should do, in theory. The winner is the presenter who makes the most cash. Good luck.
Okay, food for thought there, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go and have a bit of a think about this one.
Yeah, £1,000, you can spend it where you like. I'm going to find a travel agent. I'll see you in Berry.
No, the best man wins.
Okay, same to you.
Bye.
So, for their final challenge, it's anything goes for our dynamic duo. They've got up to £1,000 of their own money to play with, and they can spend it in any way they like. But the aim of the game is still the same. They have to try and make as much profit for their charities as possible. So what does Mistress Bliss have up her sleeve when it comes to get-rich-quick schemes? Well, she's heading west for the biannual Antiques Fair at the Royal Welsh Showground.
Well, I've hopped across the border to Wales, and I've come to Builth Wells, where there's a great antiques fair going on. So for my free-for-all, I'm going to stay local, and I'm going to stick to what I know best, and that's jewellery. I've heard there could be some great stuff here.
So Absolute Bliss is hoping her vast knowledge of jewellery will help her mine some gems from the Welsh mountains. But Mr. Morecambe, somewhat out of character, has headed down south in search of profits. He's at Ardingly International Antiques and Collectors Fair. Not only are there 1,700 stalls to choose from, but the blue-eyed boy has a cunning plan.
No, well, I've got a different strategy here today. I'm going to buy, first of all, things that will go in my pocket, small portable items, because I don't believe in buying big furniture. But secondly, and more important, I'm going for ceramics. I haven't seen any at all over the last few days. I want to buy some good quality bits and pieces, so wish me luck.
Now there's a familiar cry, I'm sticking to what I know. Between them, our professionals have over 40 years of experience, so we can expect some exciting deals. But first, Paul needs to spot these small things.
Look at that, you've got a fireplace, you've got the three-piece suite, you've got everything you want.
Yes, well, they're hardly going to get into your pocket, Paul.
See that little silver box? A little tiny vinaigrette, 1817, so it's 200 years old. Amazing that, isn't it? Got a gilded interior. What would happen here, the ladies used to put a little sponge with aromatic or very strong smelling substance. And because the corsets were very tight, this would actually bring them around if they were travelling around. This is why they used to faint all the time when they used to wave one of these about.
Now you're just being ridiculous. That thing's so small, it should be in a book of records. Moving swiftly on, Daytime's nicest presenter lets his personal interests lead the way.
Ah, you know what I like for musical items? Look at this. But this looks like a polyphon. And what happens in here are tiny bellows. And as you actually turn the handle, it forces air through these gaps. And that's what causes the notes. Isn't that fantastic? Where's that monkey?
I can't think who you mean, Mr. Hayes. But be warned, back in Wales, Kate's nose for bling bling is already twitching.
There's lots of sparkly things here, but somebody's got here before me. Well, no jewellery down there. Well, not much jewellery around. I'm beginning to quite enjoy myself.
No jewellery as yet, but something shiny has caught the eye of this magpie. It's an antique barometer in desperate need of a facelift.
You know, it's a good clean barometer.
It is. What age would you put on it, do you think?
Probably about 1930.
Do you think?
I think.
Yeah,
you know,
because the dial looks
there's-
older, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a few of these around. You know, it's not you know.
Yeah, and it's
not a rare
working,
piece.
as far as
Oh,
you
it's
know.
working. Oh, yeah.
It's just the glass.
It should say rain.
So,
there
yeah,
today.
much rain. Yeah, I think that's about right.
Probably cracked through the rain. I expect the weather, but
Okay.
The price tag says £45, but it's broken, and Kate is not intending to pay anything like that.
okay, right, let's have a look.
What do you think you could do for me, sir?
Well, 25. There you are. I've gone
25?
down. You know, I'm more or less giving it to you. Happy to be honest.
That's a very good deal. You've
I
knocked a
would
lot
think
off
so.
for me, sir.
I would think so.
All right, that's very kind.
Okay,
I'll
so-
get you some cash.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank
Let's
you very
move on.
much. You've got some change there.
Bingo, almost half price, and the smooth-talking mistress of bliss even has a buyer in mind.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that's a pretty good buy. And I've got a friend in a barometer shop who I think could sort that out. And because it's damaged, he might offer me a good price because he can do the work himself. Well, here's hoping.
And now the pennies have started rolling, the magpie strikes again.
It's not jewellery, but it's still sparkly. And I would think that's a pretty good 70s jacket. Oh, hi there.
Hello.
How old do you think it is?
I think probably 70s.
Yeah, you think it is 70s?
Yes, yes. Bought it in America last
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So
so-
it's almost sort of poochy, isn't it? In its
Yes,
bright colours and...
yeah.
OK.
Now we've seen this canny bargainer in action once. Can the smooth-talking princess of profit pull off another big discount?
Well, I think on the ticket price, yes, you've got 18. Is there anything you can do for me on that?
Yes, I can do £5 for you. That's an absolute bargain.
Well, that's brilliant.
That's unbelievable. She's got 70% off. Now, if there's one thing every good dealer knows, it's don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh, I do like your umbrella.
That's the 1960s. That's also from America. It's in really good condition.
It is, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
What can you do for me if I take the two then? Could you do me a deal on the two?
I could do £10.
£10? Sounds okay. Can you knock a wee bit off? I'm being really cheeky now, aren't I?
Cheeky, that's an understatement if ever I heard one. Absolute Bliss is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
£7?
That sound better.
That sounds very fair indeed.
£7 for two vintage pieces. Kate takes no prisoners when it comes to haggling for a good price. Back in Ardingly, TV's Mr. Nice has spotted a friendly face and is hoping to charm his way to a good deal.
They're not badly done. They're not signed in any way, but they are very, very attractive, aren't they? And luckily, I know the guy who's selling these, actually. Alan,
Hi, Paul.
how much are these two, mate?
150.
150. All right. Are you a Beatles fan?
I'm a big Beatles fan, yeah. I got these from a sale up in Yorkshire.
All right, OK. So what can they be, 150?
Well, 100 quid.
100 quid.
You got to make money on that.
£100 sounds all right, but I've got a proposition for you, actually.
Go on.
I'm thinking of setting up a band myself. I think these would be ideal. It's Paul Hayes and the Collectibles.
Right.
Well, I think we can guess what Paul Hayes and the collectibles would be like. Nice.
I think these are absolutely fantastic. They're very retro, very funky. They weren't painted at the time when the Beatles were around. They're like a modern sort of twist on them. They've been done obviously by an amateur. They're not brilliantly painted, but if you want that visual effect, if you want the feel of a 1960s living room, this is what you want. I've been assured that all this mud will come off with a bit of a wipe over, but I think those are quite a bargain, actually, £100. I'd like to see them in a good sale, maybe in the London area or possibly up in Liverpool.
At last, Paul's put his hand in his pocket and begun the race to profit. Don't forget, both our experts can spend up to £1,000 in any way they like. So far, Kate Absolute Bliss has kept most of her money in her purse. Having bought 3 items, she spent only £32, leaving a whopping £968 left in her kitty. On the opposing team, TV's nicest man, Paul Hayes, may have only bought 1 item, but he didn't scrimp, shelling out £100 for the Beatles paintings. Well, this battle for bargains is proving a tough challenge for both competitors. There's personal pride and a charitable donation at stake. Time for Plan B.
Now then, I've decided to come inside, actually. It's got a bit chilly out there. A lot of the stallholders are packing up and going home. So I'm going to try my luck in here, see if I can go undercover. Get it?
Over in Wales, Mistress Bliss is also feeling the pressure.
Well, I don't seem to have found much jewellery and it's nearly lunchtime. I bet Paul's doing a lot better than I am. So I think I'm going to go for Plan B and put my commercial head on and just look for anything that I can make a profit out of.
I'll tell you something, some of the prices in here, I need to calm down. Gosh.
Seems Kate doesn't need to worry.
It's a bit like I feel today. Help!
With Plan B in action, Kate's widened her search beyond the bling and is keeping profit firmly at the forefront of her mind.
Now, this is a really nice subject. Animal subjects are still selling really well. You think about artists like David Shepherd, whose original works are still going up in value. Now, the thing about this piece is, it looks like it's come straight out of a house clearance. The condition isn't great. We've got a few drips here of dirty water, and the card itself is slightly buckled, as if it's been really near a damp place. Now, let's have a closer look at these lions. It's a great subject. I love lions, as do a lot of people, so it's quite commercial from that point of view. And what we've got here is oil paint on card. Not board, but on cardboard. And the paint is built up in layers to give a sort of impasto effect, which really gives the texture of the lion's fur. Now, the frame here is a fairly ordinary wooden frame, and I think if that was replaced with something a little bit more striking, more in keeping with the picture, and the picture was given a very light clean to get rid of the damp signs and the drips here on it, I think then you get a really striking piece. Well, we'd better find out how much it is. Excuse me, madam.
Here she goes again. Wily Kate's looking for a bargain. She could show those lions a thing or two about stalking prey before going in for the kill.
So what are you asking for it?
65.
For this killer negotiator, that's just the starter. She'll have torn that into pieces before this meal is over.
Right, OK. Yeah, the condition isn't great, is it?
No, it's not great. It was outside in a barn, so it's damp and been roughly treated.
Can you do a little bit better for me? What's your really rock bottom price?
50, I'll do 50.
And for pudding, a cash sweetener.
I'll tell you what, I'll offer you 40 for cash.
Terrible. Dreadful. I'll accept it.
Will you?
Yes.
Fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Crikey, that dealer deserves a coffee. Just £40 for a highly collectible painting surely puts Mistress Bliss in the lead. TV's Mr. Nice has been struggling to spot anything with profit potential over in the south of England's showground, but as luck would have it, he spotted an old friend.
Oh, Paul.
Come sta?
Nice. Molto bene, grazie.
Molto bene, eh?
Nice to see you, Paul.
It's good to see you too. Now, I did notice you got a lovely chalice here.
Oh, yes. That's the start of The table in here.
It certainly is. I tell you what is nice is the fact that it's boxed.
Beautiful.
I don't think I've ever seen one actually boxed like that.
No, definitely not.
So what are you looking for that? How much is that?
I want 150, Paul. You know,
150.
as a good friend, yeah, I want 150.
Could you do a one?
No, Paul, no.
No?
How can I say no to a good friend? Give us 110, Paul.
110.
I can't do any less than that.
Okay, well how about 110 and a slice of this melon?
You can have a 2 slices of melon. You're more than welcome, you know that.
Well, that sounds like a great deal to me.
Good.
There. Yeah, molto grazie. Molto grazie.
Niente.
Mr. Hayes has friends in all the right places. £110 for a solid silver chalice. Kate better watch out. Mr. Nice is about.
Oh, now then, this search for ceramic items is proving quite fruitful. I've never seen a ceramic item look like that before, have you? But joking apart, this is actually quite a nice chalice. It's obviously ecclesiastical church chalice. But if you look really carefully, you can see the remnants of the silver hallmark here at the top. And I can tell the age, or rough age actually, by the use of the leopard's head. Now, when this was made, to sell it as silver by law, you have to send it to an assay office. And in this case, it was sent to London. But their mark before 1822 was a crowned leopard's head, and that's the mark on this one. After that date, the crown disappears, so I know it's before 1822. So at the end of the day, it's a piece of Georgian silver. It's boxed, it's in nice condition. 110 quid, seems a bargain to me. You know, might even sell it to Kate, who knows?
Well, it would certainly appeal to her magpie instincts for all things shiny, but you're too late. She's changed tack and is looking for items that need a bit of spit and polish.
Now, this is the sort of thing that I might be able to get a good price on to a toy shop, or might even find a young buyer for it. It's absolutely filthy dirty, which is quite a good thing, because I think when it's cleaned up, it'll look really nice. Let's just check that it works. We've got the pedals in here, and looks like they're working fine. So, it looks like a vintage piece, but I'm pretty sure this is brand new.
Can I just point out that brand new in the world of absolute bliss is anything younger than she is?
Well, there's just one thing I'm wondering. How much is it? Hi there, sir. What do you want for the pedal car?
45.
Not a hope, matey. This is one lady owner with a need for a bargain.
45. Yeah, it needs a little bit of work, doesn't it? I think one of the wheels is
It would be obviously a lot more than that if it's in perfect condition.
Sure. Can you do anything for me?
I'll do 30. How about
£30. Yeah, okay. £30.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
1/3 off and the deal is done. She's in it to win it and will be trying her luck as a used car dealer. Meanwhile, in the blue corner, rival contender Paul has been training hard.
Now then, I've just bought 2 fantastic items for my camera-shy stall holder. But the first one, actually, I thought of you, Kate. It's a bit of a boxing match, this game, I think. It's a bit of a competition. But this one's quite attractive. It's solid silver, and it relates to the All Indian Championships featherweight title winner 1947. Now, I think that's very unusual to get statues actually made from solid silver, because it's a very soft substance. And that was £80, which I think was quite a bargain, actually. What I'm going to do is try to find out, if I can, who actually won that championship, and that would be lovely, a bit of sports memorabilia. And that was £80. I think it's definitely worth 100 plus, so there's a bit of profit left in that one. This one was a bit of a gamble, and I feel like I've sold my soul to the devil. A bit like this fella here, actually. This is a guy called Mephistopheles, and he's one of these classical figurines. Elongated, it's a bit like Don Quixote, isn't it, with his long legs. It's made in the Ser Perdu, which is a lost wax process. In other words, only one of these actually can be made. They throw away the mould afterwards. And it is signed by the sculptor, which is a De Verve, who I believe is Dutch. But he's definitely worth a bit more research. He was a bit more expensive. He was £180. But do you know what? I feel like I've sold my soul to the devil on this show. And how are you getting on, Kate?
Well, smooth-talking Kate Bliss has been working her magic at a jewellery stall. I think it's fair to say that this man didn't stand a chance.
Can you sell that if I give it to you?
Well, that's very kind. Yep. Cultured pearl.
Yep.
Would you do that, sir, for me?
For you to do.
That's very kind indeed. What do you think I should ask for it? What would be a fair...
40, 50?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, thank you very much indeed.
That's sealed the deal, hasn't it?
That sealed the deal. Well, I can't believe it. That very generous gentleman over there, who's got some beautiful things on his stall, he has given me a brooch for nothing. Can't believe it, and it's a really lovely thing. It's a little 14-carat white gold bar brooch with a really good-sized cultured pearl in the centre, and you can tell it's a pearl. So if you feel it on the enamel of your teeth, it feels gritty, so that's a good little tip when you're looking at pearls. It's marked on the back, 14K, probably American, I would say, and it's bright cut to give the illusion of being set with little diamonds. It just gives off a little bit of sparkle, but it is actually just gold. What a lovely thing. Well, I reckon I could ask at least sort of 40 to 60 pounds, maybe a bit more for that. Thank you very much.
What a shocker! The silver-tongued Kate has bagged the best bargain of the day. And on that triumphant note, she calls it a day and heads back home. The challenge today asked our two experts to spend up to £1,000 wherever and on whatever they want. Kate has haggled magnificently on her 6 items and has only managed to spend £102. Paul has parted with £470 on 4 items, leaving him just over half his kitty still to play with. Well, Kate might have called time on her trip to Wales, but Paul is battling on in Ardingly. There's just one thing missing, and for Paul, it's the most essential item on his shopping list.
Can I get 5 cups of your finest tea, please? Thank you very much. Very thirsty work, this antique deal. You need to keep well stocked up with tea.
Yes, once fortified, Mr. Hayes is back on top form and ready to strike some last-minute deals before the dealers themselves call it a day. He spotted a familiar figure who's easy on the eye and hopefully on the wallet.
It's really strange. I've had the almost identical bronze quite recently. It's a very attractive figure, but this is actually a bit nicer than the one I had. Is it an old one?
No, it's no later than about 1920. It came at a big house in London some years ago, and I'm downsizing where I live, so I want to get rid of a few bits.
And what are you asking for it?
I'm asking £400 for it.
£400. How about 360? How does that sound?
360, we've got a deal.
Smashing. All right, we'll have a chance on that. We'll shake on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Paul knows a quality piece when he sees it and senses there could be other bargains on this stall too.
60, thank you very much. I'll tell you what I have spotted here. This isn't a Salvador Dali, is it?
It's not, no, it's painted by a Japanese artist in 1966.
Japanese artist. Have you tried to find him or have you looked him up or anything?
No, I haven't actually.
Hendera. Yeah, reminds me of a nightclub in 1988, but won't go there.
Perhaps this'll bring it all back for you, Paul.
How much are you asking for that?
I was asking £80 for it.
£80. And could you do a deal on the 2, maybe? 360 we're up to now.
420 the pair.
420, so that's 60 quid. All right. Smash, and I hope so. 420 quid. OK.
That's a big money deal. £360 for a bronze statuette and £60 for an eye-watering painting. For Mr. Morecambe, it's job done. Well, the buying bit, anyway. So, what has Mistress Bliss got lined up to finish her spending spree? Well, she's got almost £900 burning a hole in her pocket.
Well, so far I've only spent about £100, so I've come to Leominster to look up a few old contacts and see if I can find something else to make a profit.
She's sticking to her local stomping ground of Herefordshire and is hoping a few contacts in the right places will get her the deals she needs to beat Profitmeister Paul in the free-for-all event.
This place is like a rabbit warren.
There's no end of shops to look in, but which pieces hold the key to profit?
At £985, it's out of my range.
At last, Kate's nose for profit is a twitching.
Ah, now, come and look at these. Now, this is the sort of thing I'm looking for. A good pair of garden urns. So this is a typical classical design after an ancient Greek model, and it's got a semi-fluted base here and a square pedestal, typically Greek urn shape if you like. And even though these are reproduction, they're very nice quality, and I think these are still a pretty good buy. They're priced, let's have a look, at $185. Now, for a decent sized pair of garden urns, that's pretty affordable. I think I'll go and have a word, see if they can do me a bit of a deal.
She's after a discount as always, but will her wily ways work on the gatekeeper of this till?
You found anything?
Oh, well, I have actually, yes. In that back book, you've got some lovely architectural antiques and garden items.
Yes.
Now, there's a pair of urns there.
That's right.
Now, you've got them priced at about $185. Do you think you could do a little bit less for me?
Well, the sun's shining, so perhaps we could deal at 160 on those if you feel it.
About 160?
At 160.
That's fantastic.
Deal.
Great. Thank you very much.
Ah, Kate, your sweet smile and dulcet tones never fail. £160 for 2 garden urns could prove a shrewd move. Whilst Paul Hayes is probably at home having another cup of tea, for Sister Bliss, the shopping spree is not over yet. She spotted another pair worthy of closer inspection.
Now, these are something a little bit different. Now, what we've got here is a pair of hanging lanterns. Now, sadly, this one has lost its glass, but they've got that lovely aged antique look that a lot of people look for these days when they're buying architectural antiques like these and doing up houses. Now, it says here that these are from a chateau in the Charente in France, and you can imagine these looking fantastic on a French stonework chateau. And I think the wrought iron brackets particularly look French to me, typically elegant. Now, there are a few things here which help me determine the date of them. Firstly, they're wired for electricity, and you can see the cable running through here from the lantern through the bracket. And the other thing that I've noticed is that if you look at the wrought iron on the bracket, these are quite uniformly scrolled. So I don't think these have been handmade, they've been machine made, which also helps to tell me the date. Now, I think I would put them at probably around 1920, 1930. Now, this is just the sort of thing that I'm looking for. It says £200 on here. Now, I don't think that's bad. You've got the pair, and they're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to see what kind of price I can get.
Whatever the price, you just know Blissy is going to ask for a discount.
Hi. Yeah, you've got a great pair of hanging lanterns round the corner.
Big black pair, yeah. They'll need rewiring and they'll need just a good coat of paint and a good clean, but it's very nice to have the two.
Well, you've got 200 on the ticket. Can you do anything for me on that?
170.
Oh, that'd be great. Lovely. Good. All right, yeah, I'll take them. Now, this is what they look like hanging up. Don't they look fantastic? And I think I've got a buyer in mind already.
Another bargain in the bag for Kate, and she's confident she's done enough to win today's challenge to put your money where your mouth is. Paul, Mr. Morecambe Hayes, has parted with a total of £890 and will be selling a contemporary painting of the Beatles, a Georgian silver chalice, a small silver boxing trophy, a 19th century bronze figurine of Mephistopheles, a reproduction bronze statuette, and a psychedelic painting from Japan. It's a fine mix of old and new, but haggler extraordinaire Kate Absolute Bliss has only spent £432 on her haul of 7 items. She's pinning her hopes on a brass barometer, some vintage clothing and accessories, an oil painting of 2 lions, a child's toy pedal car, a 14-carat white gold and pearl brooch, a pair of garden urns, and a pair of French lanterns. It's an impressive list, and at the halfway point in today's free-for-all event, Paul and Kate are both looking like strong contenders. They started with £1,000 of their own money to spend on whatever they wanted. With the buying done, they need to turn those items into profit. And Kate Absolute Bliss is en route to victim number 1. Sorry, I mean potential customer number 1. A barometer specialist in Leominster.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Kate.
My see you again.
Yes, nice to see you.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Good.
And you?
Cool, look at all those barometers. Wow.
Well, we hope we've got something for everybody.
Yeah, well, this is what I've brought to show you. Now, as you can see, the glass is broken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really bought it with you in mind, Colin, because I know you've got a huge workshop out the back, haven't you? So I didn't think that would be too much of a problem for you.
No, it isn't. Let's have a look at the rest of it.
I would say it's about post-war, am I right?
I'd have thought perhaps a touch earlier because, because it's in inches. In 1914, the Met Office changed to millibars, so most nautical ones then went over to millibars as well. So, but it's difficult to date them accurately. The only real negative to it is that it's a paper dial, but it's a nice quality thing.
So paper as opposed to enamelled or painted?
Yes, or even porcelain sometimes, but those are the real quality ones with porcelain, but you're rare to get a porcelain and an open dial.
That's enough sweetener. Kate gets down to business.
Well, the crunch is, Colin, obviously I've come to you because I want to sell it. Now, I'm looking for roughly £100 for this item. What do you think about that?
She paid £25 for the barometer in the hope that this very dealer would give her a good profit. But will he?
OK, well, I can't go to £100, but I would go as far... If it hadn't been for charity, I would have been talking probably £50, £60, but I give £85 so that I know some goes to charity.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Is that
Thank
okay?
you very much. 85?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you very much,
Kate.
Kate.
Thank you so much. I see,
Thank
I
you.
knew I bought it with the right man in mind, you see.
Oh, she's such a charmer and walks away from her first sale with £60 profit. Up north, rival expert Mr. Morecambe is limbering up for a sale of epic proportions. He's in Derby with a silver trophy and a potential profit ringing in his ears.
Now then, it pays to do your homework. I found out lots of information about this championship and this particular trophy, so I'm going to share that with this gentleman here because I found a buyer. I've been on the phone and there's a boxing club that's looking for a new trophy to give out to their youth boxers, so wish me luck.
Round one, meet the man in charge.
Last 10.
Well then, hello.
Take a break.
How you doing?
Hi, Paul.
Dear me, is it David?
It is. Pleased to meet you.
Lovely to meet you, David. Thanks very much for seeing me.
OK, is this the trophy?
This is the trophy I was talking about. Isn't that an absolute cracker?
It is. It's
wonderful. Like I'm at an award ceremony.
Can I have a good look at it?
Can, yeah.
Well, this is something I'm really after because we've got a presentation evening coming up in November and we're looking for some decent trophies.
Round two, use all your antique knowledge to charm him into a generous state of mind.
Well, this actually is an army piece. It's presented by members of the army.
Right. Well, I used to be in the army myself, so can you tell me more about it?
Well, what used to happen when they were out in India, they would have inter-battalion wars or battles. And, of course, the winner would get a trophy like this. Now, the beauty of the internet, I've researched this particular year, 1947, and a Sergeant Lance Pasha won that championship at that time, and he was in the Somerset Light Infantry.
Right.
But what makes it nice today, you've got this solid silver boxing figure on the top.
I'm sure the boxers would appreciate that trophy and they'll be working hard to try and get that every season. So it's an incentive.
And finally, round three. Go in hard when it's time to talk cash.
It's a nice thing. I feel sorry to ask you this, but I'd ask you £150 for that. I think it's well worth it.
Well, I'm looking for about £100, really.
Right, OK. So there you go.
Alternatively, stay standing for round four, fess up like a big girl, and beg for a profit.
Well, it's actually, to tell the truth, it's cost me £80. So if you can make it like 120, that gives me a little bit more profit, and everyone wins then, don't they?
Yes, you've got a deal.
Does that sound all
right? That's fine, we'll pay 120.
I don't need to go 12 rounds with you in the ring there.
No, you don't get a penny more.
Thank goodness.
OK then, that's a deal.
Well, that's a real good deal, thank you. I hope it brings you lots of good, and it's passed down for generations.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Great.
Bout one is over and Paul is still standing. But what's this? Now he fancies his chances in the ring.
You know, they make it look so easy, don't they? Are you a doctor as well? There you go.
You all right?
Come on, I'm finding the kettle, eh?
Yes, don't look to us for sympathy, Mr. Hayes. You're no Rocky Balboa.
Oh, do you know what? Antique dealing is now an extreme sport. It's official. I've just done my back in there. Blood, sweat and tears I've done for this competition. How are you getting on, Kate? Oh, dear.
Well, Kate has been trawling through her address book and has unearthed a contact on whom she can test out her skills as a used car dealer. Come on, girl, rev up your patter.
Now, I like to do business locally, and I've come to Hay-on-Wye to see an old friend, Stuart, at the old curiosity shop. Now, the shop is just here in the castle, and it's a wonderful Aladdin's cave, all dark and full of corners, stuffed full of knickknacks. I just hope they don't mind the mud on this car.
She's a local girl in a local shop. Surely she can charm the money out of this till.
Hey, Stuart. Hi.
Hello, Katie.
Hey, it's like amazing here. I've been carting this thing around. Let me put it down. Weighs a ton.
This is nice.
What do you think?
I think it's very, very nice.
It's a bit of fun, hey? That's right, it's got
Well, it's
that on the back.
American.
Yep, American retro. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think it's that old. But obviously it's in the vintage style. Now, I'm really sorry it's in such a state. I bought it and I haven't had a chance to clean it up, would you believe?
A classic car dealer's trick. Cleaning off the mud could reveal all sorts of lumps and bumps.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the condition underneath is all right. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but I think this mud obviously will come off fairly easily.
Yeah, and we've got to find the market for it.
Yeah.
What kind of money are you looking for, Katie?
Well, do you reckon you'd have a buyer for it?
I think we'd get rid of it if it's the right price to
Do
buy
you?
off, yes.
Now, for the true test, car dealers like to make you feel you've got a bargain. Kate paid £30 for the car. Can she turn it into profit?
Well, retail, I would say it's got to be sort of a couple of £100, but because it has been used, I'm looking for about 120. What do you think?
I think the best I could do, Katie, would give you 100.
100?
Yeah.
I think that would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I should say I'll clean it for you as well.
No, there's no need to do that. That's why we knocked the 20 off.
Outstanding. That's a £70 profit. Absolute bliss. I think you've missed your calling. Unaware of the successes of his rival in the West, Mr. Morecambe has braved the bright lights of London to make his next sale. He has a cunning plan. He's in North London hoping to make a sale to one of the Beatles' biggest fans.
Hello, hi, is it Richard?
Oh,
Richard,
hi, how
very
are
pleased
you?
to meet you, Richard.
Great.
These are the paintings that I told you all about. I thought these are just the sort of thing that you need. You're near Abbey Road Studios,
Yeah,
which the
they're
Beatles
great
really
fun.
made famous.
Yes.
You know, you've got a coffee bar selling memorabilia.
Right.
So, well, these, yeah, what do you think of them? You've obviously seen a photograph before.
Yes,
but-
they're very good likenesses. One thing's interesting, though, they're from different periods in the Beatles' story.
Never?
Yeah.
Well, they look like one photograph.
I know, but the George and Ringo, they're from the time of Let It Be, 1969.
OK.
And John is certainly earlier. Tell you why, he's not wearing the round glasses.
All right, and was that a trademark of his later?
Yeah, from sort of 66 onwards, so that's probably early 66. Paul, I mean, he doesn't really change that much. That could be any sort of time.
Well, they're very visual, very funky.
I like them.
Yeah?
We have a bit of a problem, though, Paul.
Really?
Size.
I'm sure we can get them in. Come on, you grab one and we'll have a go.
Let's have a go.
Let's have a go.
Oh no, it was all going so well.
I think you're right. Oh, well, that's all right.
That's not going to work, is it?
Well, do you know what? When the Beatles first started out, they were turned down as well, weren't they?
They were,
All right.
notoriously by Decca Records.
Right.
He said, we don't like the Beatles' sounds, groups of guitars are on the way out.
OK. So there's no room from here, then?
I'm afraid there's no room for them, but maybe I'm doing a Decca. Maybe they're going to go for a lot of money and they'll regret it later on.
Thank you very much for trying anyway, mate.
Anyway,
Good luck.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye.
Who says size doesn't matter?
Oh, that's a big blow for Paul. And now he's going to have to find another taker for those Beatles paintings. Keen to show who's boss when it comes to making money, Absolute Bliss has ventured into a big city herself and has big plans for her vintage jacket and brolly, which she scooped for just £7 at the Antiques Fair.
Well, I'm at the very trendy Christmas steps here in the middle of Bristol, and there are all manner of funky fashion shops along this street. But I've come particularly to see Jane at The Shop, because she sells all kinds of vintage clothing and homeware, and I'm hoping she's going to like my umbrella and jacket. I just hope she's into flower power. Hello.
Hello.
You must be Jane.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kate.
Nice
How
to
do you
meet you.
do? And you. Well, let me show you.
Kate shows the owner the items, puts on her widest winning smile, and asks for almost 10 times the cost price.
60s. I didn't pay a huge amount, I have to say, for either of them, but I don't know. What about £60 for the two?
It's a little bit more than I would like to pay, purely just because we wouldn't make that back from them.
Right.
50?
Well, 50, that sounds fair, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is staggering. Kate's pulled in £43 profit.
Bye-bye, umbrella.
Proving there are riches to be made in the rag trade. Beat that, Mr. Hayes.
Right, well, it really is put your money where your mouth is time, isn't it? I've come along to a great auction house in the centre of London to try and sell 2 of my items which I bought for my free-for-all.
Paul's decided to put his 2 most expensive items into auction. It's a risky move, but Mr. Morecambe's no stranger to danger. And just to be sure, he's been doing his homework on the gilt bronze figurine.
And there was one very, very similar sold for €700 quite recently, which at my reckoning is about £500. So hopefully there's a bit of profit left in this one. Hopefully it sells well here today.
£500, that would certainly put you in the lead, Paul. It only cost £180, but all you can do now is watch and wait.
Lot 163 is 19th century Belgian ormolu figure of a minstrel, signed to base de Weaver, and 150 for it, 100 if you like, 100 no.
100's in, here we go.
110, 20, 30, 40, 50.
150.
150 we ground now, 150, 160, 170, 590, 180.
One more, that's about my money back. 180.
Another £180 we done for 180.
How's that? There we go. So there we go. That's £180. That is exactly what I paid for it. So there's no profit there. But I am really relieved, actually. It's not often that happens. You're just glad to get your money back out of him.
That's devastating. Not a penny profit. Paul slips into second place in this thoroughbred race. Having sold 3 of her 7 items for £235, Kate has banked a profit of £173. She's sprinting ahead of Paul, who's only managed 2 sales for £300. He may be ahead in the money, but he's limping way behind in the profit stakes, just £40 so far. So the Princess of Profit is streets ahead and still raring to go. She's in her old stomping ground of Hay-on-Wye, hoping to pull in a few favours from the past.
I've just remembered there's a hotel up here called the Old Black Lion. In fact, I used to waitress here a very long time ago, and I'm just wondering, on the off chance, if the landlady might be prepared to buy this and hang it on her wall. Well, let's go and see.
Now, there's a tenuous link if ever I heard one. She's hoping the owner will take pity on an old employee.
Oh, hello there. Hello. I'm looking for the landlady. Is that you? It is, yes.
Well, with the owner suitably buttered up, it's time to reveal the painting.
But it's quite a nice painting of 2 lions there. It's very similar to the work of an artist called Herbert Dixie, who did a lot of studies of wildlife, particularly lions and African animals, and it's very much in his sort of style. It's probably about turn of the century, perhaps early 20th century in date,
right.
And it's not actually signed, so I can't
I was just going to ask you that, was it signed? No.
I can't attribute it to a certain particular artist, but it's very much in Dixie's style.
It's a strong pitch, but can she seal the deal?
Go on then, tell me what you're asking for it now.
Well, I'm looking for about 200. How does that sound?
Well, when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, £100, I thought to myself.
That was your gut feeling?
Yes, yes it was.
Okay.
What about 150? What do you think?
I mean, 200 just gives me that little bit more profit.
I'll tell you what, because you're a local girl, I'll go £200 then.
All right, well, I'll come and waitress for you for a couple of nights. How's that?
And help me out. Yeah, brilliant.
All right,
Deal.
that's brilliant.
Okay,
Thank you, Dolan. Lovely. Well, we better find a spot for it then.
I know.
Like a lion in sheep's clothing, our Kate walks away with £160 profit. Back in central London, the pressure is really on for Mr. Morecambe. His brave decision to send his 2 most expensive items to auction hasn't been successful so far. He broke even on the gilt bronze statuette, so it all rests on sale number 2.
OK, now this sculpture is by an artist called Aimé Jules Dalou, and he was a Parisian artist working in the late 19th century, and he did some monumental sculptures as well as some very small sculptures, but top quality. But those are worth mega thousands. What happens with a sculpture like this is that they take a cast from the original and they reproduced it in the 20th century. So I suspect this is one of those items. It's maybe 50, 60 years old. I don't think it's quite antique, but very decorative, and I hope there's a bit of profit left.
Fingers crossed, Paul. You shelled out £360 for the bronze at an antique market. Will the dealers at auction be so generous?
OK, here we go.
£300 for it, 2 if you like, at 200, 2's bid, at 200, 220, 240, 260, 280, 300,
come on,
350, 380, 380, it's with Max, at 380 we're all done. For £380 then,
dear me.
Few indeed, but just £20 profit.
Right, OK. Do you know, I've never been more relieved to sell items, ever, I don't think. I've been in this job well over 20 years now, and that is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But we sold the 2 bronzes just at the last minute there, thank goodness.
This is heartbreaking stuff. Paul, if only you knew how well your professional rival Kate Absolute Bliss is doing. She's off to sell her pearl and gold pin brooch. It cost her nothing, so anything she makes is pure profit.
Oh, hello. You must be Leslie. Hello. Hi, how do you do?
Hello,
nice to meet you. Thanks so much for agreeing to see me here.
Okay.
Now, as I said to you on the phone, it's a little white gold bar brooch.
Yes.
And it's got this lovely cultured pearl in the centre there.
Right.
There you go. Have a little look.
It's 14 karat gold.
That's right, yes.
White gold.
And probably continental, I think. I wonder actually if it's American, because it's marked 14K rather than the English marking, obviously, of a hallmark.
Yeah, it's possible. As you said, it could be continental as well, of course. But and it's got a maker's initials, which is quite good, isn't it?
Yes, that's nice. Now, I think it dates from about post-war because of the markings on it there and the style of the piece.
Yes, I would think probably 40s or 50s, something like that. The only trouble with white gold, as I find, is very hard to sell because people think it's silver. So that makes me wonder a little bit about
right, okay.
how saleable it is. Right, OK then, well, what were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking, as I said to you on the phone, I was hoping for about £60.
I think that's probably a little bit more than I would pay for it because obviously when I've put a little bit on to make a profit, it's going to take the price quite high. So I wouldn't be able to offer you £60 for it. I could offer you £45.
OK, 45. All right.
That would probably be my best, actually.
OK, that's great. Fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolute Bliss is certainly living up to her name. Remember, the brooch was donated at the antiques market by a gentleman who wanted to help her charitable crusade. And she's just pocketed £45 pure profit.
Now, I should really be getting on with a bit more selling, but I'm going to take a leaf out of Paul Hayes' book and have a nice cup of tea.
Never mind tea, Mr. Morecambe has stronger stuff on his mind, like wine. He's meeting a dealer friend in West London who will hopefully buy the communion chalice.
There we go, isn't that a beauty?
That's lovely. That's it, leopard head, crowned leopard head, that's pre-1818, do you know that,
That's
Paul?
right, yeah.
Although the marks are a bit rubbed here, that's a nice chalice. You know that's handmade, don't you?
So, it's all down to price then, I take it, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I mean, what are we going to come on this, mate?
Well, I was hoping for £150 for that.
Bit strong with the marks rubbed. 140?
140. Does that include the box?
That includes the box, yeah. And the magician inside.
OK. All right, that's £140.
£140 cash?
Cash is all right, that's fine. I think that's a really good price.
Slowly but surely, the profits are rising for Paul. He made £20 on the reproduction bronze statuette and now £30 on the charming Georgian silver chalice. It all rests on 2 paintings, the Beatles and the Japanese surrealist piece. Could this be another case of the tortoise and the hare?
Well, so far, I think I've made the most profit on the items that I've bought with a buyer already in mind. Now, I saw those hanging lanterns in the antique centre surrounded by furniture. And my first thought was, if I could buy them and then try and sell them where there are other architectural antiques in a more specialist place, then I might be able to charge a better price. So I'm going to head just half a mile up the road to the reclamation yard in Leominster and see what I can do there.
So Kate plans to enter the removals business, but I bet her services won't come cheap.
Wow, look at this place. I think this is going to fit in really well.
The lanterns cost £170. What do you reckon? £250? £300?
Wow, here we go, Rupert. This is the pair. As you can see,
Look nice outside somebody's house, I'm sure. And you know, they've got a charm in the natural finish, if you like.
Yeah,
You know, you can over-restore things, can't you? So.
Well, I'm looking for about 400.
Right.
How does that sound?
350 sounds better to me, but...
So,
well, yeah, we could manage 400, I'm sure.
oh, fantastic. That's great. Thanks, Rupert.
£400? Well, I never.
Wow, that was fantastic. £230 profit in my pocket, and I only moved them half a mile up the road. It just goes to show that if you buy a piece with a sale already in mind, then you're onto a winner.
So, with just 24 hours to go before the Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is finale, TV's Mr. Optimistic Paul Hayes is hoping to sell both his remaining items at auction.
Do you know what? I still get a buzz when you come to these sale rooms. I'm at a fantastic auction house in the west of London, and I've come to sell the Beatles. So hopefully they're going under the hammer today. And do you remember that other painting I bought? It's by an artist called Juko Ikawada. There we are. Try and say that when you've had a few. But they're both going to be sold here today, so let's see how we get on.
First up is the Japanese oil painting, sporting an attractive new frame, which makes the total cost price £100. So, can the tortoise claw his way back to victory?
Somebody start me £100. £80, well below estimate, £80, no bids of £80. There's a bid of £80, take 90 in the room. £80 the bid in the doorway there, take 90. Is there no competition then? Am I selling at £80? Are we all sure? £80 the figure. 303, £80.
Another crushing blow for Mr. Morecambe. A £20 loss on the painting and its shiny new frame. Paul's in a world of auction pain on today's game. But for blissful Kate, she's hoping to sweet-talk her way to one last profit on the garden urns.
Well, they look pretty good condition and looks like something I could sell in my yard.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure they're reproduction. I don't know what you think, rather than the real Victorian.
Yes, I think you're probably right. You don't come across Victorian ones that often now. But they're still nice, as you say, good condition.
Kate paid £160 for the urns. Can she double that in the final deal of the day?
So I'm looking for about 400 for the pair.
A little bit more than what I would usually pay for them. Would you take 350?
Did you do a wee bit more?
All right, I'll give you the 400, so yes.
Oh, that's great. Lovely.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Double schmubble. She's just made a profit of £240. No wonder she's smiling. But there's still hope for Mr. Morecambe. He's got one big and potentially profitable item left to sell. They had no trouble topping the charts, but can the Beatles painting soar to success at auction?
Lot number 495, a pair of oils on canvas of the Beatles, number 495. Stylish lots. What should we sell this? Somebody tell me £200?
This is do or die for Mr. Morecambe, and we'll find out very shortly if he was able to break through the profit barrier when we reveal the final totals. So, after battling it out in today's make or break final challenge, how much cash have our experts made for charity from their free-for-all extravaganzas? Paul spent a total of £890, whilst the canny Kate spent just £432. Don't forget, all the proceeds will be going to charity. It's time to find out who is this week's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is champion.
Well, what a journey, hey?
Do you know what? This has probably been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it looks easy on paper, doesn't it? You can buy wherever you like, sell to whoever, but actually in the time frame, when you're given that, it's pretty tricky.
It's all for a good cause.
It is all for a good cause at the end of the day. It's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Who's going to go first?
Should we do it after 3?
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Oh!
Wow!
Whoa.
How do you manage to do that? I mean,
See, you're still in profit.
Well, that's not so bad, actually. How embarrassing. 848. But how do you manage to make 848?
It's more luck than judgment, I can tell you.
I'm out. At least it's not a loss.
Well, exactly.
Actually. So
exactly.
my contribution is £20 today, then, to the charity. Right.
Well, actually, it's not all over, is it? Because we've got to see what we've made overall.
This is the overall total you've made for your charity.
And this is the overall for the whole 5 programmes.
That's right.
Ready?
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
Wow, look at that!
So we've both made over £1,000.
Well,
that's fantastic.
That is wonderful. So that's 3,000 odd quid to charity. Congratulations, you.
Fantastic. Well, I think, the most important thing is we can both give, it's quite a good sum, isn't it?
That's right.
To both our charities, and it all helps.
But I'd like to say it's been a pleasure, but I won't.
Oh, Paul, we've certainly shared your pain today. And just to rub it in a little further, here's what happened when your Beatles paintings went under the hammer.
Somebody start me £200. 150 then, no less. £150 to start me. Surely at £150. No bids of 150, I will pass it. No bids of 150 then.
Unbelievable. Paul had to wait another week before the paintings actually sold for half price. Just £50. Well, we've seen a fabulous fight this week between our 2 experts. They've both worked their socks off trying to prove that they're the best in the business. But at the end of the week, what it's really been about is trying to raise as much money as possible for their chosen charities.
Well, I must admit, it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster, this show. I've raised nearly £1,200 for children in need, and that's a very worthwhile cause.
Well, I set out this week to make some money for St Michael's Hospice in Herefordshire, and it's been a long, hard week, I have to say, but a great adventure, and I'm absolutely over the moon to be writing a cheque for them for over £2,000.
Well, that's 2 great causes that will benefit from our experts' efforts. They've both pulled out all the stops, and I think it's fair to say they've both passed the put your money where your mouth is challenge with flying colours.